Okay, thank you, Hamza, for the group. Thank you, Bushra, for your efforts for recording the interview, the Zoom meetings, and sharing them with your colleagues. As I said, I sent you the syllabus and everything is mentioned in details. Also, I talked about the syllabus. I said that the grades distribution might be changed. We still have time to talk about this. And the textbook is going to be this one, Syntax, a Generative Introduction, the 3rd edition. Please make sure it's the 3rd edition. And as I said, inshallah, you will get excellent copies. And make sure that it is the 3rd edition. So this is Andrew Carney's book, and this is the cover page. This is the cover of the cover page of the book, the syntax, the main title, and the subtitle, A Generative Introduction, the 3rd edition. And this is the author of the book, Andrew Carney. What is Wiley Blackwell? Do you have an idea? What is this? So if this is the author, Andrew Carney is the author of the book. So what is Wiley Blackwell? Surah?
I don't know what's its meaning in English.
No. What is it?
Dar al-Nashr.
Excellent. Yeah, the publisher. The publisher. Excellent, Surah. Thank you. So, as I always say, that never buy a book and go to page 1 immediately. Have a look at the cover page. There are many things that you can see before starting reading page 1. So here in this cover page, we have the title and the subtitle, syntax, a generative introduction, and the edition. This is the 3rd edition. It is not the 2nd, it is not the 1st, it is the 3rd edition. I want all of you to have the 3rd edition simply because we need to be on the same page, because there are differences between the 1st and the 2nd editions and the 3rd edition. So I don't want to be on page 50, let's say, and the same topic is on page 45 in your edition. Please make sure that it's going to be the 3rd edition. And there are things that things added by the author, by Andrew Carney, that are not available in this 1st and the 2nd edition. So it is your responsibility to get the 3rd edition. And if in the exam, if you get something that is not in the 1st or the 2nd edition, then it is your responsibility. Please make sure that you're going to get the 3rd edition. And this is syntax. And those who took Introduction to Linguistics with me, as I always say, syntax is the mathematics of linguistics. So you need to attend regularly. If you miss 2-3 classes, you will feel that you are lost. You can't, so it is the same thing like mathematics. If you miss classes, you will not be able to cope with that, just to understand what's going on. So please get the 3rd edition. And here we have, why do we have this? Call it photo, call it image, call it a drawing, call it whatever. Why did Andrew Carney choose these things in particular? You have an idea? What do we call this? What do we call this?
Pyramids.
Okay. Why do we have it here? Why do we have this one here? That's something like the triangle, and a smaller triangle, and a bigger triangle, and then something before, something above, and then we have a ruler, And then we have something like this, a bigger, something like a column with dishes, and a smaller one, a smaller one. Why do you think Andrew Carney chose, why do you think Andrew Carney, or the author, chose these things in particular? Zaid?
Dr. Pyramids are a mathematical symbol of the process of how things are structured. And syntax is the field of linguistics that illustrates how sentences are structured and built.
Bravo, 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 Zaid. A perfect answer. How do you know this, Zaid?
I just figured it out now. I just looked at the pyramids and showed how some of the pyramids are divided into sections. So I just tried to connect
bravo, Zaid.
With the concept or perception of syntax.
I like your answer. I mean, this is an excellent answer. Where did you? You took Introduction to Linguistics, right?
Yeah, sure. It's a pre-requirement.
Yeah, a prerequisite. Yeah. With whom?
With Dr. Majdi.
Yes. An excellent answer from an excellent student taught by an excellent professor, Dr. Majdi. Yes, you're right. This is an excellent answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Sura?
I want to say the same thing.
Yes, Sura.
Like mathematics.
So these pyramids usually, the first thing that comes to your mind, like Egypt? What's the relationship between Andrew Carney and Egypt and syntax? And no, it has nothing to do with Egypt. But as Sura and Zaid mentioned, that this is kind of this is a shape, a structure. And you will see that in syntax, we will be doing something similar. But instead of talking about the structure of buildings, we'll be talking about the structure of what?
Sentences?
Yes, excellent.
I want to add a further information.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Now, everything starts from a cornerstone. Like in life, we need particles, something small. Then we add something else. Yes.
Okay.
Then we add something else to build a bigger building or something like that. Like words, buildings, cars. They start from particles. It's like a developmental continuous process. You know, you start from zero to another step, to a further one, to build something. They continue together. There is a bond that links every single word, every single part to make something, you know.
Bravo, yes, bravo. So you will see even also the triangle here. You will notice that you already, I think, in Introduction to Linguistics, in syntax chapter, how the syntactic tree, remember that the syntactic tree is upside down. It is not like trees in reality. They are different. In reality, we have roots, we have trunk, we have branch, we have leaves. The roots are down, the leaves are up. In syntax, the tree is upside down. The root node is the head of the triangle. And then, like if we have S for sentence, it is here. Can you see the arrow while I'm moving my? Can you see the movement? No? Yes?
Yes,
what?
doctor.
Okay, so the S is here. Then we have NP and VP. One, you see here, one line for NP, one line for VP. Then under NP, maybe we have DN and so on. Under VP, we have V and NP and whatever. So this is the head, and then it gets larger when we move downward. Now, these shapes show that we talk about structure, a structure, and this structure in syntax, it is the structure of the sentence. You know that in linguistics, we have linguistics is the scientific study of language. Then under linguistics, we have phonetics, phonology that focus on sounds. Phonetics, the study of speech sounds. Phonology, the study of sound patterns. Then morphology, the study of word formation or the internal structure of words and the rules by which these words are formed. And then if we put words together, what do we get? What do we get? We get phrases, we get clauses, we get sentences. So sound is the basic unit, sound unit, the phone level. Then we move, we put sounds together, we get morphemes. We put morphemes together, we get words. We put words together, we get phrases, clauses, and sentences. This is the structure of the sentence. So the structure gets bigger from sounds to morphemes to words to phrases, clauses, sentences. So the structure gets bigger and larger, like the head of the pyramid or the head of the triangle. Now, I want to ask you another question. Why do we have two triangles with different sizes? One would be enough. Why do we have two?
Because, doctor, I'd like to answer.
Arij?
Yeah.
Yes, Arij, go ahead.
Because sentences varies in length. It depends on you. You can get a complex sentence as the bigger triangle pyramid, and you can get a small sentence, a phrase. So sentences varies in length and the amount of components that you have, constituent inside.
Nice. This is really nice. Yes, sometimes we say John slept. This is a sentence. But it is a very short, simple sentence. But we can say the very old man who won the prize is my friend. This is another sentence. But the second sentence is far longer than the first sentence. Both of them are sentences, but they vary in size. This is a nice analysis, Eric. Good. Now, one thing also that can be interpreted when we talk more about this, what do you think? What's this? How do you see this? This one, I'm asking about the bigger one. Take this as a pot or a dish. Then we have a bigger one, a bigger one, a bigger one, then a smaller one. Then we have another shape, like copy paste from that one, but this one is smaller. If you understand this cover page, you have kind of basic understanding of the whole, I mean, not the whole, I mean, everything in the book, but at least you have an overall idea about syntax. Surah? Surah, I think there's a problem in your internet connection, Surah.
These are
problem with your internet
of the constituents. Like we have big.
Bravo, Surah. Excellent.
Me now?
Excellent. Although there's a problem with your internet connection and we didn't hear you very well, but I heard something very important, and you're right. I mean, this is an excellent answer. Does anyone want to repeat what Sora said, or to add something? That here, when we have different sizes, this means that in the sentence, we have units that are small, then larger units, then larger units, then larger units. And then maybe we have also smaller units. So this means that the hierarchy or the hierarchical structure of the sentence, that in the sentence, the sentence is not ready in our brains, in our minds, in our lexical dictionary. Do you think it's like the Coke machine, that if you put $1 and you press the button, you get the can? One go, one shot. Do you think that the sentence comes like this? Do you think that sentences are ready-made?
No.
Do you think that sentences are ready? They are already there in our mental dictionaries. Whenever we need them, we recall them, and the sentence comes all together as a unit.
No, doctor.
Why no?
Because I can say the same information in different way.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I want to use a sentence that includes an information, I can use different types of sentences. So if I agree to what you have said, it means that I have a fixed pattern of sentence in my mind and I use it. No, I change it.
Bravo. Yeah, I mean, this is a, I'm so happy to hear this, because this means that we have excellent students, and you know many things about linguistics and syntax. Zaid, you want to add something?
Yes, I just want to say that a very critical and crucial aspect about language is the creative aspect. And the creative aspect appears mainly when it comes to syntax and sentences. So it doesn't appear in morphology or in phonetics, because we have a fixed set of sounds and a fixed set of words. But we can use these sounds and words to make an infinite number of sentences.
Bravo, Zaid.
Sometimes
Yes.
the same proposition, the same notion can be illustrated in an infinite number of ways or sentences.
Zaid, are you a second or a third year student?
A third year.
MashaAllah, you speak like an MA student.
Thank you, Victor.
I'm so happy to listen to you. I mean, just even your choice of words and your sentences, and I like this. You speak like a graduate student, like an MA student. Bravo, Zaid.
Thank you, Doctor.
So I'm so happy, I'm so pleased of what I heard from Arij and Zaid. Yes, we don't have ready sentences in our brain, in our let's say in our mental, to be more specific, more precise, in our mental dictionaries, or called lexicon. Sentences come. Sarah?
I said, can I add something? You know,
Yeah, sure.
we can form.
What's your name? What's your? I take notes, so I write your names for those. I mean, those who participate. I mean, I write their names. Okay, Sarah. What?
I'm just like today deciding if I'm gonna take this course or not. So I'm just trying to see who you are and how you talk. And
no problem.
I
Just
like
tell me your name. I mean, just if you continue, that's fine. If you don't, if you, I mean, just we can, I mean, just see you next, maybe next semester. Or...
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's out of Facebook.
Okay.
All right. So, you know, we can like form sentences randomly, and we can add, you know, so many words, but we need to use the logic of, you know, of grammar. So, for example, like rank sentence can help, you know, us to get our creative juices flowing. We can, you know, make a sentence, and you know, like a sentence is completely unknown, but we can be creative and add more, and you know, it can be, you know, complicated and whatever. But if we use the logic of grammar, if we use the rules, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
No
this is the heart of it. Yes.
Yes.
That our sentences.
There's no one defined way to form them or follow them certain ways. Like I need to do this. No, you need to know the logic of grammar, use the grammar correctly, and then you can.
The rules, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is the heart of it. If our, thank you, Sarah. So happy to hear these answers from you. So if the sentence conforms to the rules, then we say that this is, syntactically speaking, a grammatical sentence. If the sentence doesn't follow the rules, even we understand the meaning, we say that this sentence is semantically acceptable. Like we say, okay, semantically understood, but syntactically is ill-formed or ungrammatical. Yes. Now, as Zaid mentioned, that language is creative. Our language, human language, is creative. And creativity here means that we are able to produce and comprehend also, not only producing at the level of producing, but also at the level of comprehension. We are able to produce and understand novel sentences. Novel here, I don't mean riwayah, novel new sentences never heard or never heard before, or never used or spoken before. This is the creativity part, that our language is creative in the sense that using a limited number of rules, we can produce unlimited number of sentences. You will see that, for example, Chomsky and his colleagues started with phrase structure rules. And maybe at the beginning there were 8 phrase structure rules, then X bar theory, then extended X bar theory, 20 rules, then minimalist approach. So a limited number of rules. But these rules, using these rules, we can produce unlimited number of possible sentences that have never been heard before. Now, back to the dishes or the pots or whatever. In syntax, you will see, and back to my question that received a very nice discussion from you. Sentences are not ready in our mental dictionaries or lexicon. This means that sentences come as chunks, as Chomsky said, chunks, parts. So if we say the boy saw the girl in the garden yesterday, then I don't say, I don't have this sentence in my mind, and then I press a button when I need it. I want to recall it, and I want to use it. I recall it, and then I speak it. No. That this sentence comes as parts.
Generated in our mind.
Yes. It is not stored. We have the boy, one chunk, and saw the girl in the garden yesterday. So the sentence, even we don't say the boy and we stop. The boy saw the girl in the garden yesterday. No, we can say the boy saw the girl in the garden. And native speakers don't stop and think and then, no, just you open your mouth, you move your tongue, your speech mechanisms, and then you say whatever you want. But the sentence comes as parts, not one unit. So when we have the tree, you will see, for example, if everything, the column is the sentence, then we will see that one part is the noun phrase. Another part is of the verb phrase. Another part is, so we start with a smaller, okay. So in the sentence, we have smaller units that are embedded within larger units. And this is called the hierarchical structure of the sentence. The hierarchical structure of the sentence. So the boy saw the girl in the garden yesterday. We will see that yesterday is an adverb, right? And this adverb is the head of the adverb phrase. So the adverb phrase is something like this, or something like this. And we have in the garden is a prepositional phrase. So this is another unit. A prepositional phrase headed by a preposition in. And then we have the girl, the object, a noun phrase. And we have saw the girl in the garden yesterday, a larger unit. And then we have the whole sentence together, the boy saw the girl in the garden yesterday. That's why in Introduction to Linguistics and in syntax, you're going to see something like this. The TP is the sentence. And then we have NP and VP. So if we say the boy saw, this is the verb. So in a sentence, take another sentence. The very small boy kissed the platypus. Here we have the very small boy is one unit, NP. Kiss the platypus is another unit, VP. And here we have, within this NP, we have smaller units. We have HP. So HP is a constituent that is embedded within a larger constituent, which is the NP. And the NP is embedded within a larger constituent, which is the TP. Not only that, we have the adverb phrase. Very is an adverb, and it is the head of the adverb phrase. And the adverb phrase, like, take this as a small dish. And this small dish or part, or we will call it constituent or constituent. This is a very important word in syntax, constituent. This constituent is embedded within a larger constituent, which is the adjective phrase, very small. And the adjective phrase is embedded this dish is embedded within a larger dish or constituent, which is the NP. And the NP and the VP are embedded within a larger constituent, which is the TP. That in chapter 3, we will call it, inshallah, root node, the root node. So in the syntactic tree, this is the root. The root is at the top. It is unlike real trees or trees in the real world. That's why my piece of advice for you, the take-home advice that I want you to take it from this meeting today is never ignore the cover of a book, the cover of any book. If there is something here, then it is not random. It is not haphazard. It is definitely related to the content of the book. So if you know that we have different sizes of sentences, and you know we have smaller constituents that are embedded within larger constituents, and we have smaller dishes and larger dishes, we have smaller constituents and larger constituents, you have an idea, an overall idea about syntax. And if you know, just as we discussed when we talked about the pyramid or the pyramid, then we know that this is a structure, but here we don't talk about the architecture or of buildings, but here in syntax we talk about the structure of a sentence. This is just the cover page. And don't worry here, if you can see, if you can read the number, this is page 1 of 544 pages. Don't worry, we will not be able to finish everything. Just, I want to give you the basic things in syntactic theory. Wiley Blackwell is the publisher. And this is about the title. And here, I want to show you another important page. This one. This one is this page here. This shows this 3rd edition, first published 2013. And this, you see this small c, it is copyright. 2013, Andrew Carney. And this is about the edition history. At the beginning, it was published by Blackwell Publishing Company. And this is something about Wiley Blackwell, the publisher, a brief. This is kind of a briefing about Wiley Blackwell, the publisher. Why is this important? Because if you want to write a paper, or if you want to choose anything from Andrew Carney's book in an article, or anything that you write, you need to write Carney 2013 and the page number. And in the list of references, you need to write Carney, Andrew, 2013, Syntax Generative Introduction, 3rd edition, Wiley Blackwell. This is for the citation or for references. And this is, of course, when you take research writing, and at the MA, inshallah, for those who want to continue, you have to use in-text citations and the list of references. So also here we have a summary of the book. So Andrew Carney was born 1969, and this is the title of the book and the edition. And this is something about, I mean, this is another book for the author. We need to be aware of all these things, and this is a dedication. So Andrew Carney dedicated this work for parents, Robert and John, and in memory of my teacher and mentor, Ken Hare. This is called dedication. When you write a book or a thesis, inshallah, as an MA student or a PhD student, you need to have dedication. And then this is the table of contents. We will have generative grammar in general. We will not start with chapter 1. I'm going to leave chapter 1 for you. It is an introductory chapter about syntactic theory in general. Syntax has a cognitive science, so syntax is a science because we follow the scientific method. Syntax has a science, the scientific method. In syntax, we collect data, we analyze data, and then we make generalizations, make rules, and then we test our hypotheses or generalizations against the new data. And if we find any conflict or any discrepancy, then we need to modify or change our rules. And this is what Chomsky and his colleagues did, or at least what they have done. Chomsky, starting from the 1950s of the past century, they started working on syntactic rules. And Chomsky, you know who Chomsky is?
The father of linguistics.
Excellent, yeah. He's the father of modern linguistics. He is one of the 10 most quoted people on earth. And he is the only one who is still alive. Chomsky is 93 years old, I think. And he's still writing and publishing. So we can't talk about syntax. We can't talk about linguistics in general, syntax in particular, without talking about Noam Chomsky. And they started 1950s with the phrase structure rules. They found exceptions. They modified the rules. They have standard theory, extended standard theory, then government and binding, then principles and parameters, then government and binding, then X-bar theory, then extended X-bar theory, then minimalist approach. These are theories, or the different names of the cover term or the umbrella term that is syntactic theory. They kept working and developing and modifying and changing, adding rules, changing rules, modifying rules, to be able to account for all possibilities in syntax. So I'm going to leave chapter 1 for you. And also I'm going to leave. So chapter 2 will be about parts of a speech. Parts of a speech, you took this in Tawjihi. You took this before Tawjihi. You took this in 101. You took this in Introduction to Linguistics. You took this in Advanced Grammar. When we say parts of a speech, as we say in Arabic, أقسام الكلام, we have major parts of a speech, nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and we have other parts, prepositions, determiners, complementizers. We will see these things. Now, we're going to start, inshallah, for the sake of this course and for the sake of the midterm exam and the final exam, you will be responsible for, just the content from page 48 on. So we will start the major parts of a speech, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Then we will talk about open versus closed lexical versus functional classes, subcategories and features of nouns and verbs and so on. And then we will move to chapter 3, inshallah, the most important chapter, at least for you as BA students, constituency, trees, and rules. We will talk about rules and trees, how to draw trees, modification and ambiguity, constituency, and how to draw syntactic trees. And then we'll move to structural relations, also a very, very important chapter, domination, precedence, C command, grammatical relations. And then we will hopefully, if we have time, we will move to binding theory. Binding theory. Okay. I think we will not be able to reach part 2, but this is for now. So next time, inshallah, I want you to prepare, please. I want you to prepare page 48. It would be nice if we have a presenter for next time. Someone who's willing to take 2-3 extra marks. The major parts of a speech: nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. You took this, as I said, in Tawjihi and before Tawjihi even, and you took this in 101. So next time we need to when we have, what is a noun? And the derivational suffixes and inflectional suffixes, these are very, very easy topics. And verbs and adjectives and adverbs. So please prepare this part for next time. And it would be nice if any one of you is willing to present. Okay? If not, I'll be doing this. But this doesn't mean, even if we are going to have a presenter, this doesn't mean that the presenter will read alone. Just all of us will read, all of us will participate and ask and answer questions. I have another class, so I have to leave. And thank you so much. And thank you for those who, thank you for all of you, of course, for attending. And also thank you for those who raised many, many excellent points. Enjoy the rest of the day, please. And then our next meeting is gonna be, inshallah, next Sunday at 2. Thank you so much. Please prepare. Don't forget to prepare.